What is a virtual office address and why you may need one? A virtual office address essentially is an address that a person or a business can utilize that's not their actual brick and mortar location. So typically you will see first time entrepreneurs or small business owners get a virtual office address so they're not listing their home address as their business location. And you don't want to do that primarily for security reasons, but also if you plan on building business credit, you don't want to have your home listed as your business location. So what you would do is you would purchase a virtual office address from a provider. What the provider will give you is an actual brick and mortar location address that you can utilize on all of your documentations that you are, let's say, submitting to the state or maybe on your website or things like that. And your mail and correspondence would come to that provider. They would then get you your mail to you. Now, typically, you would get your mail either mailed to you or scanned. And most providers like we would scan your mail into your online portal where you then will be able to view it, delete it, things like that. And so you're never missing any mail when you have a virtual office address. Also, if you have a local virtual office address, let's say that you're only about 10 minutes away or 20 minutes away from that actual brick and mortar location that you purchased the virtual address from, most times you can also go in and pick up your mail. Once again, the main purpose for getting a virtual office address is to protect your primary residence if you do not already have a commercial office space. Okay, so if you're looking for a virtual address for your business, sign up with your registered agent today. Hey guys, it's Vanessa Terry here with Notary to Notary. What are you guys up to this evening? Is it evening? It is. It's officially evening. It's 5:30. It's 5:30. Let's hop into it. I want to just talk about today. Hold on one second. Hey guys, that was parenting moment. It was a parenting moment. Deep breaths, deep breaths, deep breaths. Lots of deep breaths. Where are all my parents at out there that can understand the deep breaths moment? Sometimes you just have to take, and it was funny because all of this drama with my children just started as soon as I decided to go live. They're just they're going cuckoo. And it's like, really? Now's when you want to do this? You want to do this now? But it's okay because you have to reel it in. Reel it in, guys. Reel it in. Reel it in. Hey, the days are long, but the years are short. Oh, that's so sweet. I needed that because they definitely was cutting up just now. And the funny part, we're talking about procrastination today, but the funny part is I can deal with the noise. I just don't like when they fight. I don't like when they fight each other. That just drives me. It's like, but it's okay. Deep breaths. Okay. Anywho, what was I saying? I was saying I was going to talk to you. You see how they just threw me all the way off? But it's okay. You got to learn how to pivot in life and bring it back in. I wanted to talk to you guys about procrastination and how to stop procrastination. Oh, yay! Jaquetta got a gift card for doing a review testimony for us. We just needed more student reviews that have taken the course and given their, success stories and things like that they have experienced with the training. And so you are so very welcome, darling. So I want to talk about really quick how to stop procrastinating. How many of you guys feel like you deal with that? You feel like you deal with procrastination? How many of you guys feel like you have projects and you should be getting them done, but you're not doing it? And I felt like, so the reason why I decided to do this live now is because I'm procrastinating currently. Okay. There are two main projects that I need to have done. I should have had done by Monday, like the Monday this just passed, and it's now Wednesday and I haven't done it. And honestly, so I'm going to walk you through the processes that I go through to try to help cut the procrastination. So firstly, we procrastinate usually on tasks that we don't want to do. And the first thing you want to figure out, well, first thing you want to recognize that you're doing it. So for me, the way that I am able to fight my procrastinating is if I write the same thing down on my to-do list several days in a row. So that either means one, I've just been so busy I couldn't get to it. And you'll know if you're that busy. Or two, you don't want to do it. And that's why you still are writing it down every day. And so, and I'm doing my journal now, my journaling here. And so I was on this journal that I got, for example, it says like my top goals for the week. So I'll put like for the day. So it'll say like, what are the top 5 things that would make the most impact on my day and on my life? And I put those there first. And I usually start with those in the beginning of the day because they're going to make the most difference. We can get caught up in a lot of small clerical nothing tasks and say, well, I was busy, but were you productive? And so if I write the same thing down consistently for like several days in a row or several weeks in a row, it's like, okay, the first step is realizing that you're doing it, right? So look at your to-do list and see if you have the same thing on there consistently. You're not doing it because let's say you can't say it's time because there are other things that you put on that list that you got done, right? And if it was something like something fun, you would have did it already. So it's not time. It's never time. Know that it's never time. So first step is, okay, am I writing it down over and over again? That I noticed that today. I said, Vanessa, you keep writing this down. Okay. The second thing you do is, why do I not want to do this? That's the next question. So first you realize that I'm writing this down over and over again. It's not getting done. Okay, boom. I'm procrastinating on this task. Got it. That's the first step. Second step is why. Then you sit down and you ask yourself, be honest with yourself and say, Vanessa or Tamika or Jaquetta or anyone else, and you say, why do I not want to do this? Right? And it could be a number of reasons. Like think about when you walk past the kitchen sink and there's dishes in there. Why don't you want to do it? Because I don't feel like it. I feel it'll take a long time. The dishes are probably gross and, I don't want to do it. And it may be like you feel like it takes a long time to do it, right? So, but you want to get the reason. So like one of the things to do is like a project that I have to write. And I'm procrastinating on it because I don't want to do it because I feel like it might take some time and I got to turn my brain like really on to create the content for this project. So it's like a mental project that I have to really think and create. And one thing that one of my coaches would help me walk through is you ask yourself, when you procrastinate, when you don't want to do a task, usually it's the same kind of task that you procrastinate on. And you have to figure out what thought patterns or emotions do you associate with that task. And so I find that a lot of times when it's like hard mental projects, I'll procrastinate on them, like creating, writing grants, anything that's like a really, like I can't just like, so you have tasks that you can, like emails. I don't have to think with emails. It's easy. I already know the information, right? But when you're like writing a book, or if you're writing fresh content, or you're creating fresh something new, it's a more mental project. And so those are the ones that I feel like I procrastinate on. And so then I said, then you break it down and say, why? Then I said, that's the next step. Okay, so we procrastinate on the ones you have to really think about. Why? Because it's hard to do. So I procrastinate because it's hard and I feel like it takes too much time, right? So you figure out the task that you figure out that you're procrastinating. Then you go to the why I'm procrastinating. And then you deal with those reasons, and then you put in steps that can kind of go with those reasons to fix it, or you delegate. So whenever I see something getting written down over and over again, I'll either go through that first process where I try to break down why I'm not doing it, or two, I delegate it out. And that delegation could be something that a friend of mine can do it, or whatever the case is. But sometimes it might cost me. So let's say it's something that I don't feel like doing. Let's say, for example, you're not cleaning your house consistently, right? You're procrastinating on it because you don't want to do it, and you already went through all your mental emotions about it, and you just cannot get past it. Then you delegate it. But because you cannot get past that mental piece where you can change your thought process on it, it's costing you money, and you hire a housekeeper, right? But the bottom line is the task got done. So it's like you either delegate it, which can cost you money, or you break down the thought process to reverse it. Now, either one is perfectly fine. Sometimes you can't, you have to look at what's going to help your bottom line quicker. And so some things is just like, I'm just gonna have to bite the bullet on this and just pay somebody to do it, because I'm just not gonna do it. So you bite the bullet, you pay someone to do it, right? So you either delegate it out if you're procrastinating on it. For example, like building your website. I know that's something that I know how to do, but it's mentally taxing when I want to build a really complex website. And so a lot of times I'll just outsource it and just pay someone versus procrastinating on it. And I was like, okay, it's going to cost me at the end of the day, but the task still got done. You follow me? So you either pay with your money, or you pay with, digging in your brain and figuring out why you don't want to do it. Okay. So I go those ways. Then I put some things in place. So let's say I'm not paying someone to do it. I'm going to do it. So after I figure out why I don't want to do it, there's a couple of different things that I can do to change my mindset about the task to get it done. Okay. So I'm gonna give you a couple of things that I do, which I'm going to implement tonight, because I realized it took me like 3 to 4. Well, it was due Monday. Tuesday, I realized I was procrastinating on it, and today's Wednesday. So it took me 2 extra days to decide to actually take action and say, okay, Vanessa, what you gonna do? Because we're not taking this the rest of the week. What we gonna do? So these are the things that I'm gonna list them all out, and I'm gonna pick a couple to do, because these are larger projects. So it may take me time, but I know it's not going to take me as long as I think it is. It never takes that long. So the first thing that I do is I issue a reward. So I will say, okay, when I get this done, I get this. Okay. And it has to be something that you actually want. That's one thing that I realized. If you just say, okay, I get ice cream, and you really don't want ice cream, it's not going to motivate you. It has to be something that if you got it, you'll be super happy about it, because it has to propel you to move past the negative emotions you have with the task to say, okay, I'm going to do it anyway. Right. And so you want to figure out. So usually I have like a list of rewards that I give myself. That's like, okay, I'll pick this, or I'll pick that. With my larger projects, it's usually traveling. So if it's something like this really big, I'll say, okay, I get this done, I can take a trip here. As soon as it's done, I'm booking my flight and I'm gone. Right? That kind of stuff motivates me. And it's like, okay, I get to get on a plane. I get to go where I want to go in like a couple hours. As soon as I finish this project, say less, right? And so it'll make me get it done. It kind of like overshadows that thought. And maybe it's not traveling for you. Maybe it's, I'll get to go to a restaurant. And that's what I used to do a lot in the beginning. I used to be, okay, I want to go to the movies, or I want to go to a restaurant, or I want to go shopping. That's what doesn't really work for me anymore. You got to figure out where you are. Shopping doesn't really do it for me. Just as it doesn't. But traveling does. Putting something in place where I can go travel. That's it. Or like an experience I haven't had before. Like before, I used to put experiences. Like I would say, okay, if I get this done, I can go to the escape room, or I can go do something else fun. I would put that on, which those things still work, but it's going to change over time. So like where in my area, like my surrounding cities, if you're in Virginia, in like central Richmond area, I've done mostly everything. I guarantee if you list something in the chat, I've done it or I've been there. I haven't been to every single restaurant, because there's a lot of restaurants, but I've been to most types of restaurants. I've done most of the activities that I know of, been to every single museum. So it's a few things I haven't done, but it's very few, like skydiving. But see, skydiving wouldn't motivate me because skydiving is not something that I'm looking forward to. It's like a face your fear type thing. So I wouldn't use that as a reward. You also don't want to use punishment. So you don't want to say, okay, do this, or you got to, I used to do that too. And I had to learn from my coach. I would say, do this, or you got to do 100 push-ups, or you got to go to the gym. Right. But what I found was that he explained to me was if you associate work with a punishment, you'll start to put it in a negative space in your mind. So you want to start associating work with pleasure. And so that's why I switched it up. And I think it does work better to be rewarded with something versus, and that shows scientifically across the board that it does work a lot better. So first thing I would do is I would give myself a reward. So like, get this project done, you get to go here, right? So that's the first thing I would say. The second thing I would do is I would implement Parkinson's law. So Parkinson's law basically says work fills the time allotted for it. And I've said this all the time. So basically, a lot of times when we procrastinate, we think that the project's going to take forever. We feel like if I start, it's going to take me so many hours or several days. And how many times have you actually started doing it and it was like 10 minutes? Like when you were like, oh my God, I have to wash these dishes, it's going to take me forever. And you start washing dishes and you're done in like 10 minutes. Right? In your mind, you think it'll take this whole long process. And so one thing that I do is I will set a timer. So I'll say, so you can do a timer in one of two ways. So I'll either set a timer and say, okay, Vanessa, you got to get this. And this really works well with the reward part. So you have 15 minutes or 20 minutes to finish this project or however long I think it's going to take, but I shorten it. And I'll set the timer. As soon as you're done, you get your reward, right? So the timer helps me condense that time. The second way you can do it is you can say, okay, I don't want to do this task, but I'm only going to spend 10 minutes on it. So I'm going to focus on it for 10 minutes. And once it's done, I'm free for the rest of the day. What that does is it's making you commit to at least doing something, right? So I have 24 hours this whole day. I've been procrastinating on this thing. I'm just going to spend 10 minutes on it. That's it. And then I'm going to give myself space and be okay. I'm not going to feel guilty. I'm going to release myself from this project because I'm only giving it 10 minutes. And that's a lot of times what happens. And if you just say, okay, I'm going to go hard for 10 minutes, that's it. And then I won't feel guilty about not working on it again for the rest of the night. Tomorrow, I'll do another 10 minutes, right? Or what will happen is you'll get into it in that first 10 minutes and you'll start getting into the rhythm. When the timer goes off, you're like, hey, I'm going to do another 10 minutes, right? That sometimes will happen too. And so I use a timer in one of those two ways. Usually it's the first one where I set a timer to complete it and then get to go on my reward for that. Okay, so the first one was setting a reward for yourself. Second thing is using time to your advantage. So setting those timers to help you, get it done. Another thing that I do when I'm procrastinating is a lot of times. So we are very much environmental creatures. And so how many times have you not felt like doing something, but you put yourself in that environment and you do it? So like, if you join like a workout group and they're all like, oh my gosh, we're all together. Now you're motivated. You're running 2-3 miles. If you were by yourself, you would do one. And they see that a lot. When you do group exercises, you usually go harder because you match with everybody else in the group versus if you go by yourself. That's why you can train with a personal trainer and it'll be more intense. Not just, yes, they have more scientific knowledge about what you need to do, but because they're pushing it and doing it with you, right? And so a lot of times when I don't want to get work done, I need to move my environment to be in a place where people are working. So whether that's the library, college campuses, co-working spaces, DC is really close to me. If you guys know what DC is and you're close here, I've been known to just drive to DC just to get that energy because everyone's working. It's a place where it's like really hustle and bustle business, but people are moving. Or Atlanta, I'll go to Atlanta too just to get that vibe. Like, okay, we're grinding, it's grind time, and the energy. So it's like, okay, let me switch up my environment, and that will help me execute on this task. So going back, give yourself a reward, use the time, the alarm clocks, and use time to your advantage. The other thing that I do is I switch up my environment, and so I'll put myself somewhere where I am motivated or whatever it is I need to do. You know what I mean? You follow me? Does that make sense? What else do I do? So that's the main things I'm going to do for this one. You can also, so sometimes what I'll do too is get like an accountability group. So let's say I have a lot of work to get done. it kind of goes with the environment. I'll pick like 2 or 3 people, or 1 to 3 people that are like hustlers, or like that are business owners, and I'll say, yo, let's do I'll say, let's do I call it going into the lab, and I'll say, let's go into the lab together. And basically what that means is like whether I get an Airbnb, or they come to my house, or I go to their house, or we go to the office, and we once again get that environment going where it's like, okay, we about to grind it out. Like we all in here for the next 10, 12 hours. Sometimes the most we've ever done is like a day, the whole day. All we're doing is working. That's it. Production, production, production. And it's like, that is something, I don't know why, but it works. It works when you have someone else doing it with you. And so a lot of times I'll do that. So I'll get like another person and say, hey, let's lock in, and we'll both go over what each of us needs to do, like our to-dos. And then what happens is like that personal trainer is like, get your list done. You get your list done. I bet. And like, we're just like doing it. And so I'll do that too, where I'll get someone else to come on board with me and say, okay, I gotta get this done. I'm procrastinating. I don't want to do it. Listen, help me. Right. So I'll do that as well to assist. What else is there that you can do? That might be it. That's those are the ones I pretty much will use. I will use those. So I'll put an incentive. I change my environment. I manipulate time. Break down. And if worst comes to worst, if you just cannot get it done, then you delegate. It's like, okay, I'm just not gonna do it. So because I tried all those things, I'm still not getting it done. Now it's gonna cost me my money. So now I'm gonna pay someone to get it done because I'm not doing it. And like I said, you don't have to do that last. You can do that first. If it's something that you say, you know what, I'm just not doing it. It's just not happening. Like there's some things in my life that's like, I'm just not doing it. I don't care. It's not. Look at my face. It's not happening. Like washing my dog. Love her. Love her. I think I might do it in the summertime. Like make it like a fun activity. Get the soap because she's crazy. She's not crazy. She's just really big. I have a Rottweiler and she's huge. And she's like, it was cute when she was a small puppy, but now you're just really extra. Plus she sheds, so you're not getting in my tub. So I have to do it outside, but she's just so extra. I feel like if I do it'll be like a fun thing. Like, hey kids, let's go outside and wash the dog. Outside of that, she's going to the groomers. Okay, but because I don't, and I know I'm not gonna do it, right? I'm very well capable of giving her a bath, right? But if it was up to me, I procrastinate on it. And so because I don't want to do it, and I know I would procrastinate on it, it's gonna cost me money. I'm just gonna take her to the groomer, and they give her baths. You follow me? Does that make sense? So, what I would want you guys to do is just write down. I usually write like these huge long to-do lists. Like I do brain dumps all the time. And a brain dump for me is just where I put everything out of my head onto paper. Like what do I need to get done? And I put it on paper. And honestly, it's so good to do because as I go back over the years, I see a lot of things that are still there. Some things come off, but there's some things that stay there. And it helps me see like, okay, what was really important to me? What am I procrastinating on? Things like that. But even on a shorter scale, you can brain dump it on paper. And then one thing I've been doing too, because a lot of times we'll pick the easy stuff. I pick the things that will make the biggest difference in my life if I did it. And those are usually the ones you procrastinate on. Okay. So you pick those. And then you start working through your feelings. You start working through your feelings and saying, okay, like for example, I have a presentation I have to do on Friday, and I have not created the content for the presentation that I need to give. It's like a speech I have to do. And I've been procrastinating on it. And it's not that, the thing is, guys, it's not even hard. I don't even know why I'm not doing it. You know what I mean? But it's like, that's on my list. That's one of the 3 things, like finish presentation, right? So those I have 3 things that I need to get done that's going to make the biggest difference for me right now. I need to go in the gym too, but there's that. And then it's also one thing that I realized, and I was talking to someone recently about this. So once you understand paradigms and like why you do what you do and what really is priority to you, you can start to accept who you are. You can change who you are, but a lot of us are living in denial from who we are. So for example, me going to the gym, you see my face, go to the gym, right? That's my current mindset, my current paradigm, my current thought process. I used to go to the gym a lot. And so we are all typically like result driven. So I don't know if you were following me in like 2019, what's it, 2023, 2020, 2019, 2020. I was going to the gym heavily. Like I started, but I had a why. I had a why. Okay. I forgot how I found, I think I read like a Rippy's world record or something like that. And I saw the fastest woman. And she was, I think, what's the fastest mile for a woman? It was like 4 minutes or something that she ran. And I was like, I could do that. Right. And my plan was when I saw it, I said, I want to do that. I want to do 4 minutes and I want to go to the Olympics. Like I was inspired. It was just like something that I felt really passionate about. And I don't know why, but I really wanted to do it. And so when I first got on my treadmill and I ran, honey, my time was 17 minutes for that mile. Okay. 17 minutes. And I was like, that's cool. Guys, I got my mile down to 7 minutes within about a month, like a month and a half, maybe. I got it down to 7 minutes, right? And that was, I was running every day. So I ran every single day. Every single day I ran. Then 2-3 days out of the week, I would do the pool. And then I had a whole workout routine that I did, which I did consistently. I did it every day. And so I was able to get my mile down to 7 minutes. And so I was like, okay, cool. And I did a lot of research on like meditations that you can do while you're running, where you separate your mind from your body. And it was so dope how, oh my gosh, it was amazing to learn, where in order for you to reach those intense physical limits, you have to take your mind from your body, and you have to like it's like your mind is above your body and you're telling your body you keep going, and you don't feel the pain because your body is separate. I was able to do it. It was so cool. It's like you can feel it, but it's not you, and you control your body and you keep making it go. You go. You don't stop going, period, because I said so, right? And so I did a lot of research on that. I did the meditations, and so I got my time in 7 minutes. And so I said, okay, I'm almost there. And about doing the science behind it, I said, okay, in about 3 more weeks, I should be at about 4 minutes. Because what I was doing was every time I ran, I forced myself to get 10 to 20 seconds less. And so I would look at my run and I would see where I slowed down. I would track it. And I said, okay, you're slowing down around this point. When you hit that 4 minute mark, you're not allowed to slow down. Push through that. Push through about 30 seconds and then keep the same momentum going forward, and you'll hit the next 20 seconds. And so I was breaking it down like that so I could make sure I was hitting it. Right? So this is me working out every single day because I want to go to the Olympics, right? Rock with me. And so when I started getting closer and I said, okay, I'll be ready. I'll have my 4 minute mark, close to 4 minute mark in about a month. So at one day I started doing the research and I said, okay, well, how do I apply to go to the Olympics, right? And I'm looking online, I'm looking at the applications. Y'all, did y'all know you needed money to go to the Olympics? I mean, money. Okay, you had to get sponsored. You got to go into these. You got to get an Olympic coach to sponsor you. You need all this money. And after doing all the research behind it, I was like, because I just thought all I had to do was say I can run. Watch me run 4 minutes. That's what I thought was in my mind, right? And so when I saw that I had to do all this other stuff, it kind of deflated my bubble, and it was just like, oh, I don't want to do that anymore. I just wanted to get the 4 minutes and say, hey, I can run 4 minutes. Can I run this Olympics? That's what I wanted to do. And so once the vision that I set, which I could have kept going, it's okay, well, now I got to go. I didn't want to fundraise. I just wanted to get my body down to 4 minutes. So I said I could go fundraise, find a coach, make it a whole, shenanigan, but I didn't want to do that. So as soon as I decided I was no longer going to the Olympics, I didn't want to do that anymore. My drive to hit the 4 minutes went away. Gradually, I stopped going to the gym. I say it to say, I stopped going as consistent. I say it to say, we do what we are passionate about and what we have a why for. And it's that gets most of our time, right? So now when I'm saying, oh, go to the gym, I don't have a why to go to the gym, a why that's big enough. Like we all know we should exercise. We all know we should be healthy. We know if we're overweight, we know what that means, right? We know that your life expectancy is usually shorter if you're not in shape, right? But that's not usually a strong enough why to make people do something. That's why it usually takes someone getting like a bad medical diagnosis for them to change their health, even though they knew the whole it doesn't take. We all know we need to eat fruits and vegetables and drink water. right? It didn't take, like, we know what to eat. When you get something, like we go to the doctor and they say, oh, you have diabetes, or you have high blood pressure. It's not that you didn't know what to eat. It's that you chose not to, and you didn't place the value in doing something, eating that way. You didn't see the value in it. But once your doctor said, hey, if you keep eating like this, you're going to die. You saw the value in living. Death became real to you, and you said, oh my gosh, I want to live. All right, what I got to do, right? Because now it's in the forefront, and now it's priority. And so I said to say, what we do, everything you do every day is based off your current why, your current motivation. And it's not, a lot of the times, guys, it's not what's on our vision board. It's not what we say. The reality is, if you truly, down inside, if you wanted what you said, you could get it easily. You could get it. But it's not this true, deep, passionate thing. It's not something that we really want. What we really want is what we do every day. What you actually do every day is what you really want. And that's why we have to put that work into. One, I think everyone should journal. I don't know if people say, maybe a girl thing. I think everyone should journal because it helps you unpack your thoughts, and what gets measured gets managed. It helps you kind of see your cycles, see what you're doing. You may not know that you're failing yourself. You may not know that you're not completing your task unless you say, oh, I keep writing this down, I'm not getting this done. You know what I mean? Like, and then it causes you to look at yourself. I know for me, I wrote down a couple times last week, I was going to the gym. Didn't go once. Okay. But I had to own that. You know what I mean? I had to own that. So, okay, Vanessa, I know right now, hey, Vanessa, it's not a priority to you. Why? Why is that a priority to you? So right now, I'm like working on my paradigm. Like, okay, through your thought process. So like something that I would do, like I like being in shape in the summertime. Why? I like to wear cute outfits. I like to look cute. And, so usually in the summertime, I start with the smoothies and the salads and the gym, right? Because that's my why. At that point, my why is stronger, right? I want to look cute in these outfits, and I can't look cute if I'm not in shape. You know what I mean? And you have to just own that. Like, you guys really have to pay attention to what you're doing and your paradigms and your whys. And you can shift those. You can change those. The first step is acknowledging what it is. So like if you're wanting to build this business because you want to quit your job, right? But you only spend like an hour a day. You don't really want to build this business. You don't like your job, but you're good there. Because if you really wanted to quit your job, you would have. If you really didn't like your job, you would have quit. It's not, you don't like it, but you don't hate it. It's enough for you to accept it. And so since it's enough for you to accept, you are okay dealing with it, with settling for it. You follow me? If you truly didn't like it and you truly hated it, you would have quit. For example, if you go into work tomorrow and they tell you to do something like outrageous, like everyone has to work naked, or I don't know, something that is like, what is your problem? Right? You would quit because that'd be your limit. You'll be like, no, I'm not doing that. No. And then you'll be forced to either get another job or push yourself into the business, which would be either getting at the job. Usually, if you're not going to push your business, if you quit or you get fired, it's usually because you don't trust yourself to build that business. And it could be fear that's holding you back. It could be, the lack of knowledge, or the lack of execution, fear. But you have to break that stuff down, and every action you take is because of the thoughts that you have. You're thinking something, and that's why you react that way, whether it's in not doing or in doing. And so look at your to-do list that you wrote today, yesterday, this week, and look at the things you actually got done. All of the things you wrote, for the most part, typically can be done, but you chose not to do it. You chose to do other things. And think about the other things that you did. Look at your schedule from the time that you wake up to the time you go to sleep. That's your priority. That is the life you choose. Okay? Whatever you're doing every day is the life that you're choosing for yourself. Now, you can write goals and you can write visions and all that stuff. That's all nice and dandy. But it's what that basically does is it's working on changing your thought process, changing your paradigms, changing your habits, changing your why. Okay? And it's really when it becomes ingrained in you, you do it. You follow me? But yeah, so I feel like when it comes to procrastination, the main thing that you want to do is list those things that you know you're supposed to be doing, that you want to do. List them out. Okay. Figure out why you're not doing it. Delegate it, or put one of those things in place that I said, to help you get the thing done, right? And a lot of times, like I said, it's you don't want to do it because you have some kind of mental thought around it. So like, I don't want to go to the gym right now because I'm thinking, I don't feel like it. Because working out is not fun. It doesn't feel good. Like, this is me actually thinking out loud. Like, I'm thinking about me getting on the treadmill. There's nothing fun about being on the treadmill. It's not fun. It's tiring. It doesn't feel good. I don't want to get on it. Okay. So let's say that's your thought process. You can say, okay, well, that's not fun, but dancing is fun. Go to a dance class, right? I could do that, But then I think about, then my next thought is, I could do that. Or I could just work, right? It's like, because it's not a priority. So I have to force myself. And a lot of times for me, what I think works really well is I have to change my environment. If you're around a lot of people that are unhealthy and overweight, you're probably going to be unhealthy and overweight too. Okay. So like, you can put something, let's say there's a lot, like California is actually the healthiest state in America, right? If you were really serious, I'm going to go to California for 3 months because they're going to inspire me. Or like Costa Rica everyone was very healthy there. Oh my gosh, in shape. Everybody was like, oh my gosh, what is happening here? Okay. You can move yourself to areas where physical health and nutrition is important to them. And then you'll be inspired to do it because everyone's doing it, right? You have to use that concept to your advantage, right? Let's say you really want to, I don't know, be a better mom. Put yourself in, you can go be in mom groups. You can be, I want to be a more successful business owner. Go put yourself in those business spaces, right? So it really is a matter of, and it's funny, I was having a meeting with actually going through Tony Robbins' business mastery training, because I invest in coaching and in training. And that's why it's really important to invest in yourself. And I will tell you, Tony Robbins' mastery course is no cheap penny. I'll tell you that. I'll tell you that. But I need that, and that's the crazy part. Like, it's definitely over time, you start to see the value in coaching and in training and in education. The price tags associated with his program, if he would have told me that 5 years ago, I would have said, what is wrong with you? That's not happening. In what world? What? That's a whole car. Like, that's a car. That's like me buying a car. Okay. And then on top of that, y'all, it's 5 days. Okay. You try to tell me I got to give you car money for 5 days? If you would have told me that 5 years ago, it wasn't happening. No, I didn't see the value. Now I do. Now I get it, because I know especially, so you look at the coach, look at the trainer, and look at their results, right? That kind of stuff don't come cheap. Now you can learn on your own. It just takes longer reading the books, stuff like that. But when you want to shorten that learning curve, you start to see the value in investing in yourself. It's like a whole different mindset shift. It's a whole, like, a friend of mine right now is in another really popular trainer coaching program. And I think she said it was like $50,000 for the coaching. And I was like, what? But it's a lot that goes, but I get it. She's a successful business owner too. And she's like, I want to go to the next level. He has a coaching program, $50,000. I just signed up. And I was like, okay, bet, that's what's up. So mine is not $50,000, but it's a little less. But it's just like, when you really start to understand the value of what has taken you this far, you got to know more. If you want to get further, you got to know more. Period. It is what it is. But anyway, my point is breaking down those thought patterns. You do what you do because you were taught to do that. And so you have to unteach that to yourself. And I really feel like environment plays a big role. The more I keep saying it, the more I'm about to book a trip. I think I am. I'm very aware of environment, how it plays a role in your life. And so if you find yourself procrastinating, go to the library, go somewhere where people are working, go somewhere where they're doing the thing you want to do. And usually, guys, when I go to the gym, I'm good. I'm already there. Everyone's working out. Plus, you got all the people in the gym who's already like buff and all in shape. And you're like, oh, look at you, right? And so it's like, you're going. I'm going to get there too, right? Especially when they're beside you on the treadmill. and they're going like on level like 8 and you're on 3 and they've been doing it for like 20 minutes and you just started, you out of breath. It's like, well, looky there, right? It's the motivation. It's like, well, I'm gonna get this thing, right? Anyway, you've been doing Grant Cardone's the one that had I know what you're talking about. I watched one episode so far. I haven't done the whole thing with Grant, but I'm gonna try and catch it later. But anywho, so that's what I want to give you guys. I will tell you guys the boot camp for February is about to start. So if you missed January's boot camp, you can still get in it. We have this is the last week for January. February's boot camp starts on February 1st, and that is where we're going to be going into RON and government contracting, okay, for your notary business. So RON and government contracting, that promo code on the screen is still valid. You can use that. I just put in, let me see. Dun, dun, dun. I saw that one too. I saw his free seminar too. I popped into that, I think once so far. I think that was the one I saw, and I keep getting the emails about it. But he has like the live events that he does, and then he has so Business Mastery is a 5-day in-person event. It's in Florida. So I'll be there doing that. Thank you, darling. I'll be there doing that. But yeah, I'm always doing someone's coaching, someone's training because so I took a break from my coach for a period of time. I'm back with my coach. Y'all, if your coach don't make you cry, you need a new coach. My coach is he's not mean. I did say he was mean. I said, well, that was mean on the call. But you need someone to tell you about yourself, because if you think that you're doing great and everyone around you is telling you you're doing great, you won't grow. You need someone to tell you that you're dropping the ball here, here, and here, period. And it don't look good. Fix it. Like, okay. But yeah. So I highly encourage you to definitely get into the training program. Definitely get into the training program. What was I going to tell you guys, though? I was going to tell you the promo code MLK is 50% off for the weekend from now until Sunday. That's not it. Hold on. The boot camp starts February 1st. And I'm missing something. What am I missing? Oh, and we have new events that's up on Eventbrite. So we have a fingerprinting class coming up. We have a class this weekend for business credit. And so the rest of January is a business credit class, the notary training class, and then a fingerprinting class starts February 4th. So we got a couple of different things coming up you guys can be a part of. And let me see. I saw that. Okay, cool. All right, guys. So that is pretty much it. That's also the Talk on the Wall. I hope these tips helped you when it comes to building your notary business and just everything in life, helping you not procrastinate and really getting to reach the goals that you set for yourself. Because you are the reason that your goals are either getting done or you're writing them down every day because you didn't get to it yet, right? And don't say you didn't have enough time, because we all have the same 24 hours. And look what everyone else is doing. Not everyone, because a lot of people are procrastinating, but look at what the people who are really making moves, look at what they're doing. They're the same time that you have, okay? All right, guys, I will talk to you guys luego. Be awesome on purpose, and until next time, happy signing. Hey, guys, have you had a chance to get a copy of my new book, The Ultimate RON Guide? If you are ready to build a remote online notary business, then this book is what you need. In this book, I give you all the information that you need to know in order to build a successful remote online business, no matter what state you're in, as long as your state authorizes remote online notarizations. Head on over to Amazon today and get your copy. You'll be glad you did.